YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with week one. Way too early week one NFL pick'ems. NFL schedule release going on right now, actually. The full week one has been released, so I went ahead and put these games together for this video. Going to break each matchup down and give you my picks because why not? A lot of fun here to kind of get my thoughts on these head-to-head matchups here. So you guys can play along in the comments. We're talking a lot about this on Twitter. Actually tweeted out the lines, the odds for each week one game already. And we have full NFL coverage here. My favorite videos on the channel are weekly picks with the other members of the Goat House. So if you're new, please like, subscribe, turn notifications on. You won't regret it. Any link you're looking for down below, including our Twitter. I tweeted out the lines to the game right before recording this. Pretty interesting ones here. Basically, who's favored by Vegas, who's underdog. So pretty interesting stuff there. But on to the picks, on to the games, the week one games. I mean, a big one, a great one, a potential Super Bowl matchup, a legitimate one. A lot of people might be predicting this here. Bills at Rams, Thursday Night Football. Rams, defending Super Bowl champions, hosting a very good team in the Buffalo Bills. This is a 50-50 one here for me picking. I didn't decide who I was picking going into this video. I kind of just put the graphics together and wait, let's just roll with it here. But I'm feeling it's tough going against the defending Super Bowl champs in the first game of the year at home. Real tough. But I'm going to go with the Bills here. 50-50 game. Could go over the Rams for that reason. It's the Von Miller game. Von Miller helps the Rams win a Super Bowl, and then he goes to the Buffalo Bills on a massive contract and going against the Rams. So, it's not really doesn't really feel like a revenge game for Von Miller. Maybe for like his teammates that he left, maybe more of a revenge game for him. I'm feeling the Bills though. It's a 50-50 game again. Tough picking against defending Super Bowl champs at home. The first game of the year, very tough. But I think dealing with Josh Allen week one's a little tricky. The Rams are still a top-tier roster, top-tier team, but they lost some guys here. And the Bills possibly getting even better. Dealing with Josh Allen, week one, trying to get in season shape, a little tough. They add Von Miller, they add some pieces like that. They get Tre'Davious White back. They add Kyer Elam, better cornerback duo. James Cook, I think, is a big addition to second-round teams. Don't want to deal with his receiving ability. Really gonna stretch the field almost horizontally and vertically, in the passing game with addition like that. So I'm gonna go with the Bills for that reason. Could go either way. Again, a potential Super Bowl matchup here, so I'm really looking forward to that one to start the year. The line is, we tweet out all the lines in the first game. It's Bills are -1, so Bills are favored by 1. That's not that surprising. A little surprising. If I would have guessed what the line would be, I would have guessed the Rams be favored, defending Super Bowl champs at home. I keep saying it, but Vegas really likes the Bills, rightfully so. This is maybe a lot of people's favorites in the AFC and NFC. Again, can throw some other teams in there, so it's going to be a fun one. I'm going to go with the Bills, though, at this way too early stage. Packers at Vikings, week one. This is an early slate, Sunday afternoon game. Big-time rival game in the NFC North. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm a Vikings fan. I've had people that I trust their or I like their opinion. I value their opinion, I should say. A lot of people tell me, your Vikings are going to win that division this year. They really are. And I'm like, but I'm sitting here as a fan like, I don't know. I might be leaning at Packers still. It's going to be close. The Vikings definitely have a shot. They definitely have talent. Like the direction they're heading. They definitely can win it, but I'm still kind of, can't forget the Packers, Aaron Rodgers still playing elite level, very talented. And then I don't think people are underrating the Packers. I think people might be underrating a little bit their defense. I think this defense is going to be nasty. Not too many holes on that defense. Very talented. Getting Alexander back full time here. Adding Jaron Reed and adding some Bulldogs in the first round, some talented ones too. Maybe not said much. I think the Packers might be in contention for maybe the best defense in football, one of them at least. Maybe I'm getting carried away, but very talented. So maybe leaning Packers for the division's favorite still for that reason, even though people are starting to say Vikings. But for this game, there's always teams early in the year that kind of maybe not surprisingly or surprisingly good. They're tough to play against, and it's all about the game plan. Or the lack of game plan, because there's not really much film you can go off for some of these teams. And the Vikings are this brand new team, it feels like. Totally different offense. switching defensive schemes. Add Zadarius Smith from the Packers. Are going to get creative there. I mean, Hunter, Zadarius Smith, maybe the best pass rush duo, one of them in football, if healthy. It's a big if, but they should be healthy week 1. But that offense definitely going to be more of a passing attack. It's going to be tough to game plan for this because, the Packers are so used to the same old Vikings team that's been around forever. It's totally different. So I think the Vikings early on in the season, first few weeks have that game plan factor. Like, how do we game plan for these guys? So I'm going to go with the Vikings, actually. I think the Packers still might be the favorites in the division, in my opinion. I think that defense will be nasty once it gets going. But the Vikings, again, could be a little tricky early on. Not much film to go against. There's really not much we can expect from this team early on because it's just different. So, and they're at home. That helps, too. But it's a 50-50 game. The thing about the Vikings is they have the talent too, so it's not like that game plan factor. They also have the talent, but of course the Packers do as well. So I'm gonna go Vikings in that one. What's the line? Packers are favored by 1.5, so that's pretty. We expect the Packers to be favored. It's pretty low though, so Vegas is thinking it's maybe close to a 50-50 game there. Saints and Falcons. The Falcons might have that. What do we expect from a Mariota type offense? Same coaching staff, but it's a little bit different. Do they throw teams off early on? It's possible, but they just don't have that full slate of talent yet. They're kind of in that rebuild stage. That defense could be better than people expect. This could be maybe a low scoring, not really, but maybe the Falcons defense could play all right in this game. I like the Saints in this one. I'm talking with confidence at, what is it, May, and it's week 1, but it's kind of hilarious. But, Saints are fully healthy. They get healthy because they were beat up last year, week 1. It's kind of a bad draw for the Falcons. Team that was beat up last year, not too much logic behind it, but maybe you think they get beat up again. You rather use your home game on them later. That's just my opinion. You get them week 1 when they're tough because it's a tough team, the Saints, both sides of the ball. Don't have Sean Payton anymore, but in-house guys. It's on Winston to take care of the ball, but they're tough on both sides of the ball there, and their defense wins it for them in this one. So I'll take the Saints in that one. Weird thing I'm confident about a game early on, but I guess that could be one. 49ers and Bears. What was the line on the Saints game anyways? I meant to look. Saints -4. They could win by more than that. 49ers and Bears, the line on this game is... Where is it? There it is. 49ers by 6.5. Not too surprising. Trey Lance versus Justin Fields, question mark? Or is it going to be Jimmy Garoppolo? He's still on the 49ers. I'd like to think it'd be Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. Good old battle there. In Chicago, week 1. Will Trey Lance be ready? Probably a defensive game here. The Bears move on from Khalil Mack. Don't have Key Mix anymore. They drafted pretty well, though. Added some pieces. Eberflus, a very good defensive coach. I think this could be... I don't think either team's going to score a lot of points here. I'm going to trust the 49ers in this one. I'm going to trust their defense a little bit more to hold it down. And, the Bears didn't really put together the best weapons for Justin Fields. Will that be? So there's some under-the-radar guys, some sneaky guys that can step up. They actually signed quite a few yesterday. Maybe they get going as the season goes on. Week 1, though, might be a little tough against this 49ers defense, which ended the year playing like one of the very best defenses in football last year, even in the playoffs. So, we'll go with the 49ers in this one. In Chicago makes it interesting. Week 1, anything can happen. Anything can happen. No guarantees here. Raiders and Chargers is a very tough one. Where the Chargers are favored by 4. I'm a little surprised it's not closer. Chargers favored by 4. Raiders underdogs. Yeah, so I'm a little surprised that it's that. I'm not super surprised, but surprised it's not a little bit closer. This is a tough one. So they ended the year with the Raiders pulling off that game, and it's definitely an interesting one. Very entertaining one. Man, who's going to win this one? Raiders, they bring... It kind of feels like the same Raiders team, but they also bring in a different coaching staff. You get Josh McDaniels, you get Patrick Graham on defense, you get Devonta Adams, that big-time weapon for Derek Carr. Chargers, Justin Herbert already playing elite level, can continue to get better. I'd imagine that defense definitely gets better from what they've added. That secondary looks pretty loaded. That's a tough one. The Chargers' run defense was so bad last year. They've added some pieces. It should be better. It definitely will be better. How much better, though? Can the Raiders come into this, McDaniel's offense and just pound the football? Because the Chargers, their strength is with their secondary going into this year and how many guys they're going to use. So could the Raiders just pound the football there and win it that way? This is a 50-50 one for me. The more I'm talking about, the more I'm surprised. This should be an even line. Maybe Chargers -1. I'm surprised by that -4. I'm just thinking out loud here. Raiders could win with pounding the football. As much as they want to get the ball going to Devontae Adams, and they will. They'll be effective there. Raiders defense, I really like Patrick Graham as defensive coordinator. The Raiders could have that learning curve. They could defensively. The defense, yeah. The pass rush is really good. The edge rush duo, very good. Other than that, they got pieces here and there. Don't get me wrong, but they could have a little bit of like a year or half a year, struggle. This is tough. I'm going to give me the Chargers in the revenge game here from the end of last year. I think the Raiders will run the crap out of the ball, and that could be the difference, with their group of running backs. Chargers, I think Herbert has a big game against this Raiders defense at home, revenge game. Yeah, give me the Chargers in that one. That's a hell of a game right there. Hell of a game. Line, we talked about the line on that one. All right, Chiefs Cardinals. This is a great game as well. This is a great game. I wish DeAndre Hopkins was playing. Definitely, we all do. Maybe not Chiefs fans, and he's not, so they're probably happy about that. Line is Kansas City -3. So yeah, I think Vegas is kind of. I think you would. Most people would probably think Vegas would have the Chiefs favored by way more than 3, but I think that's around the range it should be. The Cardinals are always tough early year. Why? Dealing with Kyler Murray running around, teams are they in season shape, to deal with that. There's not too many offenses like the Cardinals, so it's not the easiest game plan. It's very fast, so that's why they're very good, especially at home in this game. Week 1 starting at home definitely helps. So they're always tough. The Chiefs feel a little bit different. They had some big time pieces on defense, especially in the draft. Offensively, I keep saying it, like they lose Tyreek Hill, but it's not really just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce to carry. They got more of a variety of options. And Juju Smith-Schuster, we know the talent he is when he's healthy. Well, he's very likely going to be healthy week 1, knock on wood. So it's a real good game. Shootout. This is going to be a shootout in week 1. Surprised it's not a primetime game. Some other really good primetime games here. But, this is going to be a shootout in week 1. Again, the Cardinals are very tough. Week 1, no Hopkins, though. Maybe does it in. I think Chiefs in a shootout is who I'll take. But Kyler Murray's going to put up some good numbers, some good play in this game. We're going to go with the Chiefs, though. That's tough. Cardinals usually dominant early season. Next game, Eagles-Lions. Lions definitely on the rise. They had a great draft last year, so some of those guys should be stepping up. They had a great draft again this year, so improving their team. Added some guys in free agency, maybe not as much as we thought, but about right around where I thought. But Eagles got better. Adding A.J. Brown. Could Hurts take a step up this year? Defense, they had a solid draft. Some guys here and there. They had Hassan Reddick in free agency. What's the line? Line is Eagles are favored by 4.5. Surprised it's not more. Not that I'm saying it should be. But 2 very good offensive lines. It's kind of on the quarterback, and you play up to your offensive line here. I'll take the Eagles though in this one. Lions are maybe a team of the future. They're actually drafting very, very well. Week 1, can we expect a whole lot? I think they'll give the Eagles a fight. Definitely think they got better. I'm going to take the Eagles, though. I'm going to take the Eagles, yeah. Now maybe, because kind of before it's like stack the box. They're going to run a lot. You add A.J. Brown, you get creative. You kind of stretch the field out a little bit. So we'll take the Eagles in that one. Next up, Browns and Panthers. This is probably maybe the toughest one to pick just because we don't know who the quarterbacks will be on either team. Is that why they did that? Does the NFL know that Baker's going to the Panthers? It's weird. It's kind of weird. Will Deshaun Watson be playing in week 1? All right, if Deshaun Watson's playing, the Panthers were tough early on last year. Panthers got a good roster, too. I know they don't have the quarterback right now, but if Deshaun Watson's playing, I'm going to go with the Browns. You just stretch the field out so much. You got to really worry about that rushing attack, and you got to really worry about the passing attack with Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, and they have a very solid defense as well. I like the Panthers' defense. I like the Panthers' weapons. Deshaun Watson's playing. I'm going to take the Browns. If it's Brissett, if it's Brissett versus Darnold, there's so many different. If it's Brissett versus Darnold, if Darnold's the starting quarterback for the Panthers, I'm still going to take the Browns probably. If it's Baker, I'm going to take the Panthers. If it's Baker Mayfield on the Panthers against the Browns, I'm going to take the Panthers against the non-Deshaun Watson Browns. Because Deshaun Watson's playing, I'm going to take the Browns either way. I'll take the Panthers in that case. Could it be Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo versus Brissett. God, what would I do in that one? I'd maybe take the Panthers fully healthy there. Browns are a very talented roster, though, so we just don't know. It's tough to pick one right now. If Deshaun Watson plays, we'll go with the Browns, though. Line right now, not that it means much. Looking for it. -4. Browns -4. It's probably going to change a lot depending on what happens. Patriots and Dolphins. The line on this one is Patriots are underdogs, +2.5. Dolphins are favored by 2.5. Dolphins had the Patriots number last year, that's for sure, with that defense. They both run a similar defense. A lot of man coverage, a lot of blitzing. They'll continue to do that. Patriots are weird because it's like, did their roster get better compared to last year? Probably can argue against it, But they had a lot of young players. They drafted very well last year. Some people question their draft this year. Drafted very well last year. Mac Jones can continue to improve. So kind of by default, could the Patriots actually improve even if you think their roster is worse? They had Devontae Parker from the Dolphins as well. Dolphins get better. They get Tyreek Hill in there. They got, which is going to be a lot of fun. They improve their offensive line for sure. They improve their offensive coaching staff, we'll say. And they add, Teron Armstead with that offensive line and all those running backs. I think Mike McDaniel will do a good job. There seemed to be a matchup problem last year for the Patriots against the Dolphins. Doesn't mean it'll be the same thing this year, but I do think the Dolphins improved a lot more at home week one. Not knowing what to expect is how much of a different offense is the Dolphins. So Dolphins getting better, tough matchup perhaps, and the unexpected coming from them with the new mainly the defense will be the same, the new offense coaching staff. So we'll go with the Dolphins in that one. Pretty good game though. Next, Steelers Bengals. Yeah, Steelers. Add Kenny Pickett, and they have Trubisky too. You'd like to think if you draft a quarterback in that draft, the most pro-ready one, he's going to start. So I think Kenny Pickett would be the guy. And the Steelers will continue to fight. It's what they do every year. Very tough to go against defending AFC champions at home in this one, though. So I'm going to take the Bengals 6, I think. Yeah, Bengals are favored by 6 in this one. So one of the bigger favorites, according to Vegas. Bengals just too much, too ready. Pickett, will he be ready? Trubisky, will he be ready? Some changes to that Steelers team. They still got some talent, though. I like the Bengals in that one. Good rival game in week one. Ravens and Jets. I like where the Jets are heading. Like the way they're drafting. Like their coaching staff. Very talented. Not too many holes at all on that roster. Maybe it takes a little bit to get going because of young players. Maybe a little tricky to play against week one, though. They're a little sneaky. They beat the Titans. They beat the Bengals. They beat up the Bengals last year. So could they be just sneaky against the good teams? Ravens, though, get fully healthy. That's a dangerous team and fully healthy. They weren't last year. That's a tough draw for the Jets. If you're going to play the Ravens, you don't want to play them in week one. Give me the Ravens. That defense is going to be different. A lot more zone coverage. A lot more coverage in general in the back end, not just the corners on the island, which they were very good at before, but simplifying things for those guys. Again, I really like the Jets where they're heading, and I don't think I've ever said that. They could be sneaky this year. I'm going to take the Ravens, though, in this one. Fully healthy Ravens. Changing some things up, mainly on defense. Better get some receivers on Lamar, though. Ravens, favored by 5.5, so maybe you thought it'd be more. Interesting. Yeah, Jets are getting good. Watch out for those Jets. Jaguars and Commanders here. I noticed this one. I saw it on Twitter. It's kind of like a Carson Wentz revenge game. The Jaguars whooped his ass really in that last game of the year to send the Colts to the playoffs or to keep them from going to the playoffs. So it's kind of like Carson Wentz revenge game, and now Doug Peterson's the head coach of the Jaguars, who, of course, coached Carson Wentz for some time. So interesting game there. This might be the toughest one to pick. I'm kind of looking at the other games. This actually might be the toughest one to pick here. I think the Jaguars are going to be sneaky this year. I think Trevor Lawrence takes a step up. I think Doug Peterson, I like Doug Peterson. I think him being in there helps. The defense, I think they'll stop the run at a solid level. They got some weapons in there. They upgraded to pass rush. Commanders got a good roster. It's kind of on Wentz, which, The downside of Wentz is, can he win the big game? Can he take care of the ball? The positive, though, is I think he's kind of fit, ready, game one ready to plug and play with the Commanders. Obviously, he's going to play, but Commanders were already kind of running some of that RPO, and the Colts kind of added that when Wentz got there, so it was a little bit new to them. It's already there in Washington, so I think Wentz can kind of come in playing pretty solid. The Jags gave him problems last year. He still could have some turnovers. This is tough. This is actually tough. I think the Commanders will be the better team on the year. I think the Jaguars are still they're still growing. I think they could be sneaky this year. I think the Commanders will be the better team on the year. Week one, where kind of random things happen. I think the Commanders pass rush really gets after Lawrence, but I think Lawrence outplays Wentz in this game. I think the Jaguars will stop the run too. That's what Commanders want to do first. I'm going to go with the underdog. Did I check the line yet? I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm talking myself into it here. I think they'll stop the run, take away the Commanders' best part of their game. I think Trevor Lawrence plays a solid game here too, somewhat solid. The pass rusher will be getting after him. Chase Young coming back. 50-50. That's one of the tougher ones to pick. I got to pick some upsets here. Jaguars are underdogs by 4, so it's not that much. Commanders favored by 4. Again, I think the Commanders are probably the better team on the year. Jaguars would be sneaky. I'm going to take them in this game, though. What's the next game? Giants and Titans. Yeah, the Giants could be tough early on. Kind of get healthy, and they got that new staff, new play style. Should have a pretty good defense. What to expect from this dad ball offense here. So they could be a little tricky early on. It's still Daniel Jones, though. Week one, maybe if he does, he can improve. Very well can, but if he does, could it be as the season goes on there? Titans, dealing with Derrick Henry week one. No more A.J. Brown, though. Maybe a sour taste in their mouth that they're, blowing that Bengals game, which they had. Titans defense, I thought they were the best defense in football, actually, down at the very end. Really, you probably can argue the Rams, the Bengals, the Rams, or 49ers as well, because those teams last a little bit longer. But I love the way that Titans defense is playing down the stretch. They really got going, and they were very, very bad 2 years ago, so they're kind of just getting going. I'm going to take the Titans. I think just a much better team. The Giants could be a little tricky because what to expect, I guess, from that style of play offensively. But do they have enough to kind of overcome the Titans in week one here? I'll take the Titans in that one. Giants heading in the right path, though, for sure. So excited about where they're going. Colts and Texans. The Colts were actually, what was the Titans spread? Titans are favored by 6.5. So Giants were underdog by 6.5. We have all these on Twitter, by the way. Colts, Texans is the heaviest favorite, 7.5. Colts favored by 7.5. Matt Ryan coming in, so we know they can be a force passing the ball. A good offensive line for Matt Ryan. They're going to run the ball very well. It's going to be interesting, though, taking away more of the RPOs, though. So how will that affect them? Don't think much, but it's going to feel different. Defense, they probably downgrade in terms of the defensive coordinator. Bradley used to be one of the best, but Eberflus was a very good defensive coordinator. But I think the talent is definitely better. They added some very good talent on that defense. So I think that's better. That's definitely better there. Stephon Gilmore, Yannick Ngakoue. So the defensive talent's definitely better. Texans should be getting better. Young guys continuing to improve. Added some talent. 2 first-round draft picks, obviously. I'm going to take the Colts. I mean, they're favored by 7.5 for a reason. Texans could be sneaky in a game like this. The Colts kind of get upset. We saw the Jaguars week 1 2 years ago, the Jaguars at the end of the year last year. This isn't the Jaguars, but it's the Texans. They could be a little sneaky in a game like this against the Colts. I just think the safe bet is, you got a game plan for the pass and the run against the Colts with Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor runs wild probably in this game. So I will take the Colts in that one. Texans could be sneaky. Sunday Night Football, it's a good game, but I'm a little disappointed that they opened the season against each other again. Not open the actual season, but their first game, week 1. So technically, yeah. This time it is in Dallas. That's a bad draw for the Cowboys. Why do they got to play the Bucs again week 1? It's a bad draw because the Bucs are, the end of the year, not the best team in football, but if they were fully healthy, they might have been the best. Might have been. I'm not saying they would have been. Might have been the best team in football. I mean, Godwin coming back. Unless he's not expected to be, but Cowboys definitely changed their team a little bit, moved on from some guys. They'll be fine. They'll be a good team, but I'm going to take Brady here. Sunday night. Is this Sunday Night Football? Sunday Night Football, week 1, healthy Bucs we expect. Give me the Bucs. It should be a good game, though. It should be a high-scoring ball game. Should be fun, just like last year. So give me the Bucs. And then Monday Night Football, we got the Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks. We got Russell Wilson with the Denver Broncos versus potentially Drew Lock, or is it going to be Geno Smith? Someone on Twitter, I think everyone's saying it, thinking it. It'd be absolutely wild if Drew Lock beat the Broncos on Monday Night Football in week 1. It'd be pretty wild. And so, what's the spread? I didn't check the spread of the last one. The Bucs were favored by 2.5, but the Broncos are favored by 4.5, so that's pretty low. So Vegas is thinking Seattle could be sneaky. Week 1, anything can happen. I can argue the Seahawks in this game. There's something that kind of makes us feel like, I could kind of see Drew Lock just doing that. Everyone having a meltdown, beating the Broncos. There's really not a whole lot of logic behind it. But the logic, I think, is the Seahawks could have a pretty damn good rushing attack. With Chris Carson coming back healthy, Rashad Penny where he was going at the end of last year, and then Kenneth Walker, who's a stud as well. Seahawks might have a dominant rushing attack. And that's always tough to deal with start the year. Those teams that wear you out, and you're not in the season yet. You're in week 1. So that is actually a reason the Seahawks could win the game. And I do think I think Vegas is onto something. 4.5. I'm a little surprised by it, but I think they're onto something. I think it'll be closer than maybe people think. But I'm still going to go with the Broncos. Seahawks, they added some good pieces on defense, young pieces. They drafted very, very well, like where they're heading. But I think Russell Wilson with the Broncos' weapons, and they have that rushing attack. I'm a big Javonte Williams fan. They also have Melvin Gordon. They can they're going to have to game plan for everything. And I think Russell Wilson will be able to air the ball downfield with success against these young corners in Seattle. And they got a very solid defense as well. But Seattle could pound the football and control the clock with that game. It might be a fun one there. They did it for a reason, not just Russell Wilson playing against Seattle. And they think it could be an interesting game, and Vegas thinks so as well. So that's not a freebie, even though at first glance it might feel like it. But I still got to take the Broncos in that one. Excited to watch what they got here with that new look team, mainly with Russell Wilson there, new coaching staff as well. So there's my picks for every week 1 game at this way too early stage. Again, we have all the lines, the odds on our Twitter. We're always talking on Twitter. So check that out. Join us there. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. You guys know the drill. Thanks for watching. That's going to do it. Goodbye.